Welcome to another episode of Sex After, where we talk about sex after all the different life changes and how they impact our sex life. Today, I have Karli Harvey Raymond. Hi, Karli.
Ashley, how are you?
How are you? I'm so excited to have you. I think we have been social media friends for a minute.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
for a minute.
Love
And so
your content. Love your content.
and I am so excited to have you. And so typically on the show, we have women who tell their stories about how their sex life changed through various changes in their life. And then we also have expert guests. So today, Karli's one of our expert guests. And Karli, tell people, what do you do so they'll know?
So I'm Karli Harvey Raymond. I'm an international event host and MC. I'm a wife, a mom, an entrepreneur, but I'm also a certified sex educator. And so what I do is help women build their confidence in getting the sex they really desire and deserve. And so taking hold of their pleasure, asking themselves what they want, and being able to get that from their partners.
And so that is so on brand and what we need for this podcast. Because if you've been listening to the podcast, you've probably heard stories of women who've talked about how their life has changed after having a C-section, or how their life has changed just being married, right? And I get a lot of questions because, if you're new to this and don't know who I am, so my name is Ashley Cobb. I should start that off at the beginning. So my name is Ashley Cobb. And I am a sex expert like Karli, right? And I particularly help women to be able to have the best sex of their lives, whatever that looks like for them,
Yeah.
and to have conversations and all the things. So I've had like a sex column before. I'm writing a book on pleasure and all these things. So I get a lot of inboxes and emails and DMs from women who are in relationships or who are married and who have different things and just want to know how can they make their sex life better. So Karli, from your experience, or what is the number one, I guess, question that women come to you and ask?
Well, I think it varies between classes. So I teach classes for women. It started like as a monthly group, monthly meetup. And so I host classes virtually and in person. The in-person classes are definitely way more fun. You do. They're so
When's the
fun.
next one?
I am doing one. Actually, so men have asked me to do a class. So I just did one last week, which was really good. So I won't be doing another one to the end of January. And I'm doing it for guys. Before they said, can we do one before Valentine's Day? Yeah. So it varies. I get a lot of questions on whether it is how to take time to look better, how to show up better, take time for yourself when you're not in the mood, when you don't want to, you're kind of wearing athleisure all the time. And then they're like, well, I kind of look like this all the time. How do I jazz it up? I was a hairstylist and wardrobe stylist for many years. And so I first started to focus on like the outer, right? And so doing the classes, I've learned that women are asking, well, how do I look better? But how do I get past the differences in libido? Because there's a mismatch in libido.
Yes.
One person wants it more, one person wants it less. I usually tend to find out that women want more quality sex. Men are looking for more the quantity of sex, versus the quality. So women are looking for more quality. So they want to have deeper intimacy, deeper connection. They want to have better sex, but don't know really how to talk about it. And they don't know their bodies. And so really we're doing questions on like, well, how do I know I've even had an orgasm? How do I know what pleasure looks like for me? They're afraid to touch themselves. So I get so many questions. So it kind of runs the gamut. I even get questions on how to squirt. Like it runs the gamut on what women are looking for. Yeah.
So let's say there's a woman who's listening who is a mother, right? She's trying to navigate motherhood, also being a wife and or partner, right? So I don't have any kids, right? So actually, let me say, Ashley doesn't have any children. Praise the Lord, right? So, so I've never been pregnant, none of that stuff. So I don't have any firsthand experience on trying to navigate relationships with being a mom. So you have that experience.
Yes.
So how do you navigate that how can you be a great mom and be there for your children or your children or child and not let the spark die in your relationship? How does that work?
So it's difficult sometimes to not let the spark die in your relationship because life be life. And when we are in relationships, there's an ebb and flow in relationships. And so there are times in your relationship you're extremely, madly, deeply in love. And then there are times in your relationships where the thought of that person even breathing brings you and makes you want to fight, you know?
Yes.
So with the ebb and flow of just the dynamic of falling in and out of love, I think that's a reality of relationships. Stress from work, those are all factors. Medications are all factors in our sex drives and how that shows up. Aging parents and how we have to navigate caring for parents,
Yep.
that shows up in how we show up in our sex lives, right? But I often tell women they have to take time for themselves. And so, because in order for women to have creativity, create sexual energy within themselves, they have to have alone. And so in that, it means taking time for yourself. That means taking time to learn your own body. That means taking time, maybe put on something that you really enjoy, that you like, something sexy that you feel good in. Maybe put on some music, maybe have some wine, maybe have a little cocktail. And maybe just be in the mirror and learn your body, touch yourself. And I got told one time, this lady said, "Now, Karli, I'm not sitting in front of no damn mirror naked. I'm not doing that because everything is hanging and swinging." And I say, but we can't expect someone else to love our body if we don't love our body.
Love our body. You know what? That is a very good point. So a couple of years ago, this was pre-COVID. Everything runs together before COVID. So this was pre-COVID. One of the years, I hosted a naked yoga class, and it was really cute. Yeah, it was really cute. And I did it because I'm not into yoga. I'm just not into yoga. But I tried. This is not my thing. But I thought having a naked yoga class would be good because what I have found in my own personal journey is that being naked around other women helps me to appreciate my body.
Yeah.
Right? I've gone to nudist events, I've done a lot of things, and it helps you to appreciate, you know what? I might have, a fupa or my titties might be down to my stomach, but I still look good. And you really see, too many people to nude beaches or nude events with white people. You see all types of things, right? Yeah. And they have all the confidence in the world. Okay.
Yes.
So I may think I'm fat or whatever, or larger than I want to be. They meet somebody who is twice their size and who is outside and naked and just as confident. And
yeah. Yeah.
I've learned is being naked, looking at myself in mirrors, going to events that require me to kind of be in those kind of environments, give me a better appreciation for how I currently look. Yes, I can still want to have, goals, fitness goals, right? But right now, you need to appreciate how you look right now. And when you learn how you look currently, that also helps your sex life. I get a lot of people who well, I don't feel sexy, or I don't feel confident. How do you do that? And part of that is just loving how you look currently, and flaws and all, rolls, saggy, all that.
Yes. That's the thing. I think we get so caught up in the way, well, if I turn like this, I got to roll, or if I do this, then my belly gonna hang, or whatever. It's a Negro right now. He is dying to get up under them titties. He dying. He dying.
We have these rolls. Ain't stopping nothing. Okay, quiet as kept.
Baby, honey, this ain't ever stop no show. Okay,
it ain't stop nothing.
So, and keep moving, right? Mm-hmm. And I think we get so caught up in the roles and the this and the that, and we lose focus on the experience. We lose sight of what the experience could be and how magical our sex lives could be because we're so focused on the wrong things. And so, if you go somewhere and you see other women who are proud about their bodies, not the version of the body that they hope for, not the future self, but the body that they have right now. That's the thing. If I never get another body, I got to love this one. And so I think that's the understanding that we have to come to, and a good book for people to really read. I can't think of the author right now, but it's The Body Is Not an Apology. The Body Is Not an Apology. It's really good. Yeah. The Body Is Not an Apology. I cannot think of the author right now, but it was really good and really understanding how we get so caught up and wrapped up in what we look like and if we're too big or if we're this or if we're that, and how in some way we've kind of told ourselves we're not deserving of something, that we're not deserving of pleasure.
Sonya Renee Taylor.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, I was gonna mess it up. Yeah.
Google for okay.
Yeah. So it was really good, I think, and it really gives people perspective on how we limit ourselves and our experiences, and how we get trapped in this idea that once we finish one thing or once I lose the weight, then I'll wear the clothes, then I'll look good enough, then I'll buy the new bra and panties, then I'll buy the new lingerie, but I have to earn it. And so we have to stop telling ourselves that we have to earn pleasure, that is not something that we are it's rightly ours, And I think that's the misunderstanding that we constantly give ourselves, is that we're constantly having to earn something. And I want to dispel that myth for Black women. I think that's part of even why I started doing what I started to do and helping women as far as sex, education, and pleasure and wellness. It's all about having the experience right now and doing it unapologetically, but doing it freely, but doing it in the realms of like consent, doing things that you want to do and not because you feel pressured to do something or any of those things. So I really think it's that part of really loving who you are. That takes time. We've been told that we weren't beautiful. We've been told that we weren't attractive. We weren't told that, oh, your nose too big or this, I definitely have gotten that. But it really is the understanding that I love what I see when I look in the mirror. And I'll be damned if you're going to tell me something different,
And like, I was talking to somebody the other day and I was like, I understand that everybody is not attracted to a girl with a fade and glasses, right? I get it. That's not everybody, right?
Right.
However, I've had enough in life experience and dealt with enough people to know that there are enough people out here who do like it.
Yes.
So if it's not your thing, just date or talk to or whatever the people who do.
Yes.
So we have to I think we have to stop focus on the people who don't like it and then just focus on the ones who do like it.
Yeah. Because there's more love out there for us than we really realize. We can get it, even when we look at something like a social media platform like Instagram or something like that, and we can hone in on the one comment that someone made that was negative. She ugly, she this, she that. Oh, I don't even like her hair. I don't even like. We can get caught up on that, or we can get caught up on the 50 other comments that said, oh my God, I love what you're doing. Oh my God, you helped me. Oh my God, oh my God, y'all are so beautiful. You so beautiful. You so this. Like we can get caught up on the one thing and think that make the fiction fact,
Right.
And so
several years ago, I was on this TV show in Atlanta. And I remember we was doing some it's a dating show and we was doing some press about it. And this is when I learned that you cannot go to the comments because people are going to people.
Yeah.
Right? And people, when they get behind a computer, they say all these things that they would never say to you in your face.
Because they'll get their ass beat.
Okay. Yeah, so I remember somebody was like something about, well, her glasses anyway. I'm like, fine. Yeah, like, come on. Yeah, but big glasses be on point. You lying, right? Like, just be saying whatever.
Yeah. But like we carry all of those things with us. We carry all of those experiences with those little negative comments, and then we take them into the bedroom with us. So we automatically start to believe that because this one person said it, that he might be thinking I'm ugly. He might be thinking I'm too fat. He might be thinking it all because we have allowed the one person to dictate how we think, feel, and believe about ourselves. And that's not the truth, I think that's the hardest thing, is trying to help women see their own beauty, to see the power wrapped up in their sexuality as well. Because some people don't really understand that there's power in being a sexual being. There's power in that, And so when people don't understand that, they try and weaponize the things. You know, we use religion, we use all of the things to keep people bound and chained, right? And all of those things have served us, right? I grew up in the church. I know what that feels like. I grew up in purity culture. I was gonna wait till I was married. I was gonna have me a little abstinence ring. And then
Hey,
I was like, oh,
like,
got
bitch,
to school.
that's me.
Where did,
Cold child, whole cold doing stuff. And I was like, bitch, why we doing this? Like, no, well, bitch, I don't.
for sure is that God is in all things. He's in all things. He's in all things. And we want to take him out of the things because we're like, oh, well, you cuss, so he ain't up in that. No, he right here with me. He right here. He never left me. Just because it didn't suit your taste, it don't mean that he left me. You know what I'm saying? And you allow people to have the walk that they want to have. Like, and I believe that extremes are really good for some people. You know, they need that radical way of thinking in order to have some discipline in their lives. And that's fine. I don't take anyone's experience away from them, you know, but I also know how some of those teachings have kept Black women in bondage. I do know that. I do know how so many women have suffered under the hand of religion. I do know that. And I do know how many women have walked into their 40s after being in uh long-term marriages unsatisfied and unhealthy and trying to pray their way through after a man has, you know, been a serial cheater and a a philanderer. So like we have all these experiences that, oh, we're just pray him through it and just be there. And this woman is dying on the inside. And so we use all of these weapons to keep people in chains.
You don't know how many women that I've met who have come to me who are married
Mm-hmm.
and have kids, multiple kids, and who've been married for extended amount of time. And they have said, I have never had an orgasm.
Yeah.
Like never. And you have 3, 4 kids, right?
Yes.
You at least did 3 times, right?
Yeah.
So- and so I'm like, and you've been married for 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
And it's like, that is very common. I don't think people understand how common it is.
Yeah.
It's very, very common.
Very common.
And it goes back to what you were saying earlier, goes back to people not knowing their bodies.
Yeah.
Because if you're someone who is from the South in religion, right? They don't teach anything about sex being pleasurable. Sex is
No.
supposed to be for procreation. It's supposed to be, and you're supposed to not deny your husband from sex, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're taught. And we're not taught that it's also supposed to feel good when we're doing it.
Yes.
You know, no one's taught that. So we think that I remember the first person that I had sex with when I didn't have sex till I got to college. And the first person I was engaged with at the time, he was older than me. I probably shouldn't be having sex with him, but you know, whatever. Here we are.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he was 4 years older than me, but you know, whatever. So I remember thinking, like, this it? Like this can't be better. Like so, but and we were together for I don't know 2 years, and I was like, okay, I kind of made myself satisfied with. You know, I didn't really know what good sex was per se, but I was like, I don't know if this is it.
Yeah.
And I also didn't have the vocabulary or the knowledge to be able to communicate with him either.
Yeah.
I just assumed that okay, he's a guy. This is what he says happens. This is what's supposed to happen. It was not until I left that relationship and I started seeing other people that I learned, oh, this is what sex is supposed to be like.
Yeah.
Right. Like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Right. And because, and with the whole purity thing in church, they teach us that, you know, you're only supposed to have sex with one person, your husband, into marriage. And because of that, I know people who are in bondage to that, you know, because even if they get a divorce, they still feel like they don't want to explore or they don't want to try new things because they don't want to feel like they are chores or, being outside or whatever that is. I've said it before. I think that men use the whole body count thing and wanting you not to have to lower body count and want you to have like one person. So that way you won't know how bad they are. Like if you can convince me,
Yeah.
right, I need one sex partner, right?
Yeah.
One.
Yeah.
I don't know how many you have, right?
Yeah.
But you can convince me as a woman.
Yeah.
Only one, and this all I am going to be ignorant to exactly what good sex is because I don't know any better. Even if I know, like in my case, if I know this is not exactly what I was reading about, in the magazines, I still didn't really know,
Yeah.
right? Like got out there and experienced it. So it's a way to keep us under lock and key so that we can't be like, this is not it, baby. Try again.
I do think there's truth to that because you hear it so many times. You hear from pastors, you hear from people who are on podcasts and they're saying, "Oh, a low body count and all this, and you shouldn't, women shouldn't do this." But then these same men are out sleeping with multiple women at the same time. They're engaging in multi-partnered situationships, and so this, like, I think yes, women can get caught up in this idea of body count. At this big age, I'm in my 40s, so I'm not. I would if I even something happened with me and my husband, I'm out here dating again. Someone asked me how many people I slept with, I'll be like, "Do you smoke crack?" Because at this, do you smoke crack? Like, who are you? Why are you asking me that? Like, we're adults. Like, I had a whole life before you. You had a whole life before me. Why is that coming into play? Who I am right now and showing up for you is all that matters.
I tell people I've been having sex since I was 18.
Yeah.
I will be 40 in a month. So that means I've been having sex for over 20 years.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
So,
Too.
and I haven't been married to anybody ever. So I don't have a husband.
That's okay.
So the man, like like that's like I don't know, but I've been having sex since I was 18.
Yes.
So it's more than two, right?
Yes. Yes. And I'm very comfortable with that. Like I talk, I've had a lot of great sex in the past. Even, when I started having sex just like you after I went to college. I was 18. I started to experience sex, but I was so comfortable in my body, right? I've always been very like I know what I like, I know what I want to see, I know these things. But it was also very performative for me. It was very performative. I would be like, well, if I move this way, if I do this, and I look like, as long as I look cute doing it, I'm gonna arch my back and I would do this. And sometimes you're like, well, that wasn't even hitting the spot for me, but this Negro, he going ham, like he the girl. So now you like, oh, well, let me just keep going.
Doing
But
that.
nobody asked me like, well, how you feel? What you want? How are you?
Mhm.
Like, and so when I look back, yeah, I think I was able to have some really good sexual experiences, but I also didn't have the language. And so I wasn't being able to vocalize like, well, when you did, I really didn't like that. I really didn't care for that. I really liked when you did this, but I didn't like when you did that. So
Uh-huh.
I would just let these people think like they were they were King Kong of the bedroom, and make them feel like they could just beat their chest, mind you. And I'm like, okay, Negro, like, okay, now what next? Like, so it wasn't about my experience, my orgasm. It was about making sure they were fulfilled. And they were gonna come, 95% of the time. You
9 times
know,
7.
meanwhile,
No,
I'm
go ahead.
I'm gonna fake it till we make like I'm going,
Right.
like I'm gonna bullshit my way through.
So what do you tell women in terms of how they can make sure that they are prioritizing their pleasure? So, because to your point, men are always going to get theirs most of the time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Men are not going to keep continuing to have sex with someone who who is not satisfying them. That
Yeah.
is, so how can women be a little bit more like men in terms of making sure that we're going to get ours? And if something's not working for you, my default is always to find somebody else, but I know everybody can't do that. So that's always my fault. So probably why I'm single. So don't listen to me.
Replace. It's just a
Right.
replace method.
Right. That's me. But I'm actually single, so don't do that method. So what is your advice for women who maybe can't replace? How can they improve their situation?
It really is the communication. So it's going to come down. I love my good friend, Dr. Emily Morris. I interview her for my book club. And what she really always talks about is like the compliment sandwich in ways of communicating. And that's really giving them something, giving your partner, whether you're male or female, is saying to them, hey, I really like when you do this. It really makes me feel good when you do this. But I do feel when you do this, it doesn't turn me on as much. I don't get as excited. I'm not as aroused. But when you do this, I feel more connected to you. I feel a better bond. I feel all of these things because I really enjoy the relationship we have and I want our relationship to grow. I want our sex to be the best sex ever. And so I want you to keep exploring my body, but I want you to learn. So I want to teach you. I want to teach you the things that really turn me on. And I think that can be a great opportunity for like a mutual masturbation. That can be him watching you as a woman, him watching how you touch your body, how you caress your body. And then say, I think make a game about it. Make a game of it and say like, I'm going to touch myself and then I want you to follow me. Like I want you, I'm going to guide you as you take your hand down my body. I want you to touch me in the ways that really bring me pleasure. And so I think when we're able to do that, then we're able to have better relationships. And this shit is hard. Please don't get it twisted. I've been with my husband for 12 years. And so it gets difficult. If y'all are in a tough patch, if y'all are having financial issues, if the kids are stressful, you running through practice. I mean, my son plays basketball. He's only 8, but Lord God, I don't know if they're trying to make this Negro LeBron James tomorrow. I don't know. But it's a constant shuffling to practice, to this, to that, to this. You're doing all the things, the school events. And so it just gets stressful, right? And so having those conversations, you might not get to have, these long sex sessions where it's like, oh, it's hours of just, oh, I just get to feel you and be. No, sometimes it's like a quickie with the door closed, while a kid is yelling outside, what you doing here? What y'all like? Something you just got to get it where you can. But having the conversations makes all the difference. I think when y'all are able to talk about it, because what turns me on now at 42 years old is different than what turned me on when I was in my 20s.
Listen. Okay. So since we're talking about it, listen. So I was totally unprepared, right? Because I don't think we as women really talk about things in the next decade of our lives like we should. Right? Like just for example, like with 30s, I was totally prepared that I'm gonna start growing chin hair and I have to carry around tweezers with me everywhere I go. No one told me that. Like I be plucking hair almost every day, right? I was totally unprepared for that when your vagina also gets gray, right? You have gray pubic hair.
Yes.
I woke up one day and was like a bitch of salt and pepper, right? It just what happened. And I was unprepared for my desires and things I want sexually to change. So yes, things I wanted I was 20 are not what I want now. And I think that's because when I was 20, I didn't know what I want.
Yeah.
In my 20s, I was kind of going with the flow.
Yeah, feeling your way through.
Yeah, it was like going through the motions, just whatever you say, do, cool, that's what it was. It wasn't into my 30s that I kind of discovered what I liked, right? So for me, my 20s was just a mess. I was just out here just doing whatever he said. Okay. In my 30s, and that's really how successful actually became. In my 30s, 29, 30, I was like, I'm going to discover what it is that I like. And I kind of grew a platform at the beginning talking about what it is that my whole new discovery of like sex and what that was. And it kind of transformed to what it is now. But then now that I'm knocking on 40, like I was always a person I was really a person who loved receiving head. Loved it. Right? I was really a head person. Penetration, cool, but it was not a necessity. It was not a must. Right?
Okay.
And now in the last 2 years or so, maybe that has changed. Not that I don't like head, because I do. I still like getting it, but I also now crave penetration.
Yes.
And it's not even with this, it's not from like this one person. I'm not just, saying I'm a hoe out in these streets, but whatever. I crave it with any person now, right? It's a thing that I crave. So my wants have changed and things that I like sexually has also changed. Um, and I don't know if I think part of it is I'm learning myself. I've learned myself. Another part of it is I just think that as you get older, you just your body just kind of shifts and you like different things. Yes.
Yeah. And I think when that shift happens, I think it can throw some people off because we can get caught up in the routine of sex. Like we can be like, oh, I know, okay, we got a few minutes of this, then he gonna flip me around, then I'm gonna ride a little bit, then we done, right? We can get caught up in a routine. Like I've known you, I'm comfortable with you, it's so familiar. Boom, I know how the script is gonna play out.
Uh-huh.
But I think when we are able to even take time time for ourselves, we're able to explore. So that may mean like, okay, I watched a video that I really liked. I'm into porn. I like to watch a little porn. My porn category has changed. Maybe I'm into, I think even for women, it's still going to be threesomes and lesbian porn.
I'm
Like,
lesbian porn, but let's if people on my porn search, you probably think I was lesbian. I love lesbian porn. Dude, I'm sorry.
yeah, most women do. I mean, yes, I love lesbian porn. I mean, it runs the gamut on what I like in my porn. I like porn, but
Mhm.
don't look at my history though. You might be like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, freaky K, got it. But I think when we're able to take that time, we're able to like have our alone time and say, okay, well, let me look at this video. Let me see what I like. Oh, maybe this is intriguing. Okay, maybe I saw something on being tied up. Maybe I saw something on being choked. Maybe you haven't been choked or into choking or being into bondage. And then you're like, well, damn, at 40 something, I might be into bondage. I want somebody to tie me up. I do feel like that's something I'm into. I may be into a threesome where you may have been closed off before, but it's really taking the time. Even I think with threesomes, because I think people have it's such a high fantasy for people. It's threesomes, multi-partner sex is very high on the list of
It is.
fantasy. I think talking about that, like that can be a game changer with your partner too. It's just talking about the fantasy, like some fantasies are just yours. You ain't gonna share them. Like that's just for you. That's for your own little mind and your imagination. You are not, I don't care if you married or nothing. When people say, oh, I got to share everything with my husband. Baby, them fantasies are yours. That's your mind. You don't got to share nothing you don't want to share in your mind. Are you crazy? So
Good advice.
understanding that because I've heard this from women. They get so caught up on like, well, I have to tell my husband, you don't. Like that's your fantasy. If you not ready to talk about your fantasy, you don't have to. But it could also be a good way to explore. Like, oh, I'm really thinking about, like, have you ever thought about me and you being with another woman? Or have you thought about, me being a complete sex goddess and us having another man, like another man ravish me? Now, then you get,
Let me tell you, baby, listen. They
yeah,
not put my business out here in the street, but right, like so I've done that. I was with someone, and it was kind of like of a cuckold situation. So for those who don't know what cuckold situations, what cuckold
yeah,
is when your partner, your man, enjoys watching you have
yes.
sex with someone else.
It
They get
brings them
turned on.
pleasure. Yeah.
Yeah, it brings them pleasure by watching you have sex with somebody else. So I've had a couple of those. It was actually hella fun.
Yeah.
Hella fun and exciting, and our it made our relationship kind of closer. Like it made it better because also we communicated about it. Like the person that I was having the third person, he knew that, like he knew of them, like he was in the vetting process. Okay, so if you meet somebody, we all talked about it, or we all
Mm.
met up, right? He was nobody in the dark, wasn't a solo thing. Everybody in this knew what was happening, so it also strengthened me and the other person's relationship.
Yeah, because y'all were able to share something. Number one, he wanted to do something that brought you pleasure, right? But also he enjoyed it. And I get that when I've talked about cuckolding in classes, they'll say, oh, Karli, black men ain't doing that. I said, yes, they are.
You
Yes.
baby, you alive.
Yes, they do.
He's black.
I'm like, this is
And
not.
he in Atlanta. Just
Yes.
FYI. Go ahead.
Ashley, if you get this man address next year,
Okay,
I've had experience where women are saying that's only for white people. And I said, that's not true. Like when we think about sex as a whole, it does not have, these aren't color lines that have been drawn in sex and desire.
I tell you all the time, there is no such thing as white people sex.
Yeah.
There is no such thing. Sex
No.
is sex.
Now, sex is sex.
Sex is sex. Now, as a whole, we as black people tend to be more reserved and more taboo.
Yeah.
And so we view sex differently, but there is no such thing as white people sex. Whatever you want to do, whatever you enjoy, do that.
Yes.
And then somebody that's black
who wants to do it with you.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And that's what I think sometimes we've been so close off in our thinking, we just believe that it's not possible for us. So even the things that we desire or think about, that they're not even a possibility because, I've never seen it with people who look like me, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. And so that's where the talking comes into play. Like sometimes we may think, well, my man not going to want to watch me with another man. But you don't know that, you've never brought it up. But then there's an expectation that the threesome has to be, if the threesome is brought up in this relationship, it has to be another woman. If he brings up, it has to be another woman. And people think that if you have two men, that the two men are actually doing something with each other. That's not true. That's the misconception of like the threesome, is that these two men are now engaging in sex with each other. That's not true. No. Any boundary you set in the threesome is there. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you to finish with her. I don't want you to, you can't kiss her. Like, I've heard many boundaries. Okay, you're not going to be able to eat her pussy. Like, okay, cool. Like, there are a number of boundaries that are set, but if you communicate, you can have those discussions, right? And that's how you were able to have such a good experience, because you were able to talk about it. Y'all talked about the person. Y'all talked about who made both of y'all feel safe in this situation.
Amazing. Not even going to keep on Abbott. Amazing. Amazing time. 5 stars. I'll do it again.
I love that for you. I love that for you.
Again, 5 stars. Highly recommend.
That's the beauty of it. I think the joy in having the great sex and the sex you really deserve is really being able to play out all of these scenarios that may just be lying dormant in your head. You may have some stuff that you want to do, but you're just scared. You're like, well, I don't know if I say this, if it's going to turn him off, but if we just throw it out there, we don't know what's going to stick, if we're not going to talk about it. And so share the things that you really want, especially at this age.
So what are some ways that people can figure out what their partner's into? Maybe because some people have a difficulty just communicating it.
Yeah.
So what are some ways that they can kind of gauge their partner or figure out if they're into certain things without just being like, okay, so do you want your dick sucked from the back? Like, without just saying it.
Well, I think there are a number of sex lists that are created. They're all over the internet. They're all over the internet. I know that even they have the yes, no, maybe list. Things that you were into, things that okay, this is a yes. I'm definitely down for this. And then this is a hard no. I'm not interested at all. And then these are some things that maybe under the right circumstances I will be into. And so those things can be you can sit down and on a date night when y'all have time, y'all may be saying oh, hey, I got this list. Let's talk about it. I got some things I've been thinking about. And maybe you don't want to go through the whole list. Maybe you just got about 10 things on the list that's piquing your interest and you want to just see where your partner's head is at. And so you say hey, okay, anal. You into anal? Are you thinking about anal? Or do you have a thing for anal play? Or okay, are you into bondage? Are you into a dominant and submissive situation? Are you into spanking? Would you spank me? So all these things we can think about that maybe you haven't done. Maybe you haven't been tied up, but you want to. And I think when we think of BDSM, people automatically go 50 Shades of Grey. They automatically think oh, hell, I need a dungeon. I need a sex thrill. No, You might just be using your headscarf. Take that damn headscarf up and you done tied this man's hands up. It's very simple things that we can incorporate. Your little sleep mask that you use,
Uh-huh.
boom. Now
There
that's
you
your
go, baby.
blindfold.
That's a
Like,
blindfold.
we're not really taking things where we have to go to the sex shop to actually buy some things that's just in the house that we have that we can use to explore. And so we're not really thinking about it because our mind, we've kind of cut that off in our mind to say it may not be possible. Now, do I do like sex toy shops? I think it's a great date night. If you want to go and, look at all the new things and gadgets and things, that's very fun. Very fun. I love
Very
that, the
fun.
date night.
Very fun.
Me and my husband have done the date nights to look at new things and what we into and things like that. And we've done that like years ago. So you have to think like, and when we think about partnership, when we think about just our bodies and ourselves as we age, like we have to think about new ways of, as our body changes, how does our pleasure change? How do we then touch our body differently, show up differently for our bodies? Because our bodies are going to change, like it's a reality. Medication is real, whether you're on blood pressure medication or antidepressants or all sorts of things that have an impact on your sex life and your desire. So how do we change the game and make things more interesting for ourselves?
Those are good tips. I always tell people about the yes, no, maybe chart. Because it's literally on Google. You can type in yes, no,
Yes,
maybe,
and it
and
shows
12
up.
of
It's
them,
there.
12 pop up. Just
Yes,
pick one.
just pick one.
And it's very simple and very easy to kind of figure out what they may be into. Just go off that. It's very simple. You don't need a whole, don't need to reinvent the wheel. It's already there.
Yeah. You do not need to pull out a PowerPoint presentation for this.
You
Like,
don't. You don't.
keep it
You
simple.
don't. Keep it simple. And then like there's also some this is like I saw this on Etsy. It's like a date night, kind of, you put all different ideas of a date night into like a cup or something, and then the person picks it out, and that's the thing you do tonight. So you can do that same thing with different types of sex positions, different types
Yeah.
of kink things, and just pick one out of a jar, and that's what we're doing today.
Yes.
It's
That's
real
just
simple.
it. It's very simple. I think even when we do like small things, like I was into Pilates for a long time, and they always tell you when you take a Pilates class, like it's like, oh, these are just small movements that have a great impact in your body. And you're like, yeah, okay, bitch. But then you're like, you feel it, right? You feel the little things, like you move, you change one spring, and now it's heavy, and now everything is happening. I can't move it. Damn, this is like, it's hard. But those small things that you can do, that you can incorporate, have a great impact in your relationship. And sometimes it's just sitting down with a yes, no, maybe list. Sometimes it's just tearing some paper and putting some stuff in a plastic cup or a hat. Like, those are simple things. We're making it hard, which then well, she's not doing it, so then just let me go to somebody else. Or he's not doing it, so then let me go to somebody else. But we might be able to get what we want if we're just able to be open with each other,
There you go. Be open. So how do you suggest people, how do you have a conversation? How can you do that?
I can tell you not to do it. Don't do it in the bedroom. Don't.
Okay, good. Good. Don't do it in the bedroom, right?
Don't do it in the midst of the act. Don't do it when, your partner, your man is mid-stroke or she's in mid-lick or suck, and then you like, oh, I hate when you do that. Dang, stop. Well, that will definitely.
Yes, it will kill the mood, and it's not gonna make the person want to do that again.
Yeah. So just like when you're naked, you're your most vulnerable, right? So if we're vulnerable when we're naked, guess what? Anything that someone says could feel like an attack. It could feel negative if someone's saying something to you, even if it's constructive criticism, right? It just feels like it doesn't feel good because now I'm naked, I'm vulnerable. I have nothing to shield me from, I can't, it's difficult because you can't kind of ward off the attack. And so do it when everyone is clothed, when y'all are in a good mood, y'all are on a high, maybe y'all are on a road trip or something like that. Or maybe y'all are, out in the car, like it's Atlanta, you sitting in traffic, you never know. But like, have those conversations. Maybe if it's not where you all can, like, you're scared to say it face to face, maybe it's like writing some things down. Maybe it's writing a little letter or
Mhm.
making a note on your phone and sending it as a text, you know? I don't know, whatever method works for you and how you're able to express yourself. I think do it that way, but just refrain from doing it while you're in the act. I will say that. That will make for just a messed up night for everyone.
Yes, it will. So, Carly, tell people where they can find you, follow you, if someone is interested in coming to your virtual classes or in-person classes, where those take place, and all the things you have going on.
Yeah, so if you guys want to follow me on social, I'm there on Instagram at I am Karli Raymond. I am Karli Raymond on Instagram. Send me a message. As far as like classes and things, just I work through the DM. So if people want to find me, just DM me if you want to book me for a class or if you want to book me for hosting or anything. Yeah, just send me a DM. I get plenty of get plenty of messages. But I will say, even as I move through like the new year and I'm doing more classes, they are kind of by word of mouth. I haven't even like publicized, you know, that's the beauty. I feel like I've been able to do things that I really enjoy and I haven't really put any like publicity behind it. So yeah, I host virtual classes if they want to think about like, hey, I got a group of girlfriends who want to do a class. I do them all the time. Or if you're locally or you want to like, I usually do a lot of local Atlanta classes just because it's easy for me to get to. But if you're out of state, I'm fine. Just send me a message and we'll see how we can work together. But it's I am Karli Raymond on Instagram.
We are going to work together on something. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm just sitting here thinking we're going to work together on something and figure out what that is.
And this is the thing, Ashley, I will say to you and what you're doing, I think you're doing a great work in the world. I really
Oh,
do.
thank you.
You're doing some phenomenal things. I've watched you and I love people who talk about sex, who are
Mhm.
making it less taboo to talk about
Mhm.
sex,
Mhm.
but who are educating people in the process and using their personality to engage people. So keep going. And I feel like there's room for everyone to
It
shine.
is. It is like because first, there are millions and billions of people in the world, and you know, I understand. I was telling somebody this who was trying to be an aspiring sex educator. I like some people don't like my delivery. I cuss too much or whatever. And like I'm not married, I don't have kids, so sometimes they can relate better to people who are married, people who have children, people who are not as ratchet as I am. And it's fine, right? You have to be.
Can get ratchet. So
It can.
sex can get ratchet. I'm gonna tell people stop with all this prim and proper. Sex gets nasty, so we gonna talk nasty.
Just in case you are a prim and proper bitch, right? You're a person. Like I'm just not. And I know several people who are sex therapists and educators who are. So
Yeah,
there is someone who fits you. Like somebody was asking me one time, do I do a lot of things for women who are lesbian or LGBTQ? And I was like, not particularly because I'm heterosexual. And
yeah,
there's enough. I know enough a lot of who that's their wheelhouse. So like I'll just recommend you to go to them, right?
yeah,
You don't have to be all things to everybody.
yeah.
There is people for you. Find your tribe and maybe just do it.
Yes, yes, yes. For those who are called to you, your people, they're
Mhm.
for you. They are
Therefore,
for you. And they
there
will support you. And so
there you go.
I'm learning that as I
Mhm.
continue to navigate through and help people along this journey. And people need it. So they're looking for me, they're looking for you, they're looking for people to show up in this space and just hold their hand through it. That's all they
Yeah.
want. Somebody to hold their hand.